Hello and welcome. I'm Tim Moore, co-founder of ONEEV, and today's conversation is one that I'm genuinely proud to be part of. The electric vehicle industry is moving fast. It's innovative, it's disruptive, and it's shaping how we all move, live, and work. But like many fast-growing industries, there's still work to be done when it comes to representation, visibility, and inclusion. And that is why last week, as part of ONEEV, we launched Powered by Her, for Her, aimed at listening to the voice of our female customer and the future women of tomorrow that will drive future EVs. That is why today's episode matters. We're here to talk about Global Women in EV Day as a meaningful movement focused on recognising the women already shaping the industry and creating space for many to thrive. I'm delighted to be joined by the founder of Global Women in EV Day, Gill, who has brought together a global initiative with real purpose and real momentum. Gill, thank you for joining us and for creating something that genuinely matters.
Thanks so much, Tim, and I'm absolutely delighted to be joining you. So my name is Gill Nowell. I am the founder of Global Women in EV Day. I also have my own business hosted by Gill, but I've been working in e-mobility since about 2012, so a little while now, doing various roles over the years. I'm a co-founding director of Electric Vehicle Association England. I suppose ultimately I've done whatever I can almost on a daily basis to advocate for the uptake of electric vehicles. And now with the imminent launch of the Global Women in EV Day campaign, I'm really hoping to shine a light on the incredible women who are working across e-mobility. I'm hoping to inspire the next generation of women into EV and also just shine a light on the fact that women remain underrepresented in e-mobility, and we have an opportunity to do something about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we actually started speaking just a little bit before we came on to the podcast, and actually already I was pretty excited by your passion. So look, why do you believe, though, it was the right time, and why is it particularly right for the EV sector to be involved in this?
Global Women in EV Day, it's a new international movement. The transition to electric mobility really is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to build a fairer and more inclusive industry. But we need to make sure that we design equity into it from the start. So Global Women in EV Day is about visibility, momentum and action, launching on the 10th of February this year, of course. And I think timing really does matter. EV is scaling really fast around investment, around infrastructure, around jobs, around policy. And if we don't consciously address equity now, then we risk simply recreating the same imbalances that we've seen in other sectors. We know that women, certainly in the UK at least, hold 49% of the driving licenses, but nowhere near half the power, so to speak, is held by women. And so Global Women in EV Day is here to try and change that.
I think, to be quite honest with you, it's the right time based on where we are with the infrastructure building up so fast, the government pushing along in terms of the EV industry, many different things coming along. And I really do think, having worked in other global businesses, that the timing's probably right. Why was the 10th of February chosen as a date for Global Women in EV Day? What does that day mean to you?
Really wanted to choose a date with meaning. So 10th of February is the birth date of Edith Clarke in 1883. Edith Clarke was one of the world's first female electrical engineers, and her work laid the foundations for modern power grids, which ultimately make large-scale EV adoption possible. And it's where I actually cut my teeth in e-mobility on EV grid integration projects. So I think the 10th of February, it's a date that links women, electricity and the future of mobility. And it's a reminder actually that women have always been a part of this story, even when history hasn't always recognised them.
That is great and well thought out. And also really good to know the history around it as well, because there'll be a lot of people thinking about what is the history behind it, and there it is. And I am looking forward to the 10th of February now for many reasons, but also the historic part of it as well. So thank you so much, Gill. What like a founding partner actually involved, and why do you think it fits within the community?
Being a founding partner of Global Women in EV Day means that those partners commit to 3 things. So they commit to supporting visibility for women in EV. They make a clear and a public pledge, whether that might be around mentoring, inclusive recruitment, leadership balance, or storytelling. And it's about standing alongside everybody else in a shared movement, because perhaps one of the things that is slightly different with the Global Women in EV Day campaign is that all partners are celebrated equally, no matter level of contribution. And we welcome individuals, we welcome non-profit organisations, and of course we welcome commercial organisations. But no matter who you are, no matter what organisation you are from, everybody is celebrated equally, which I think speaks to the very heart of the campaign itself.
I think you're so right, and it's refreshing to hear that you're kind of like really opening up and embracing all to come in and be part of this. There are lots of initiatives around diversity and inclusion in big businesses, small businesses, all businesses, in matter of fact. So what do you think, though, that, you know, the Global Women in EV Day will generally be different? Is it a case of the industry catching up? Is it a case of us now rebalancing? What is the genuine difference?
Yeah, so again, I think 3 things probably. So firstly, the campaign is essentially owned by the industry and the EV community. And again, everybody is celebrated equally. Secondly, it flips the traditional sponsorship model. So there's no gold, silver or bronze hierarchy. Every founding partner coming on board has equal visibility and voice, because equity has to be built into the structure of the campaign. It's not just about the messaging. So, for example, partners can choose their own partner level, whether that's platinum, whether that's emerald, whether that's a more playful cosmic hyper ultra fusion partner. I think we've had a storm in a teacup partner. There are a series of founding partners. So I'm really enjoying seeing what founding partners are kind of settling on for their partner level. And whilst it can be playful, you know, the nature of the campaign, of course, has a very sort of serious theme to it as well.
Well, thank you for that. And I want to see if I can get to find out from you if you can give us a little insight into the launch. You know, what's happening and what can people expect from the day itself?
Yes. Okay. So excited about this, Tim. Cannot begin to tell you how excited I am. So the UK launch is taking place at Octopus Electroverse HQ in London on the afternoon of the 10th of February. And I'm so really overawed to say that it's already sold out. So, which I think actually speaks to the need and the enthusiasm and the appetite for this kind of campaign, and people really, really wanting to make change happen, and for essentially the industry to start to build equity into the heart of it. So the afternoon itself will include, I say premiere, but it's the first showing of the Global Women in EV Day launch video. And this is where the founding partners have had the opportunity to contribute to that video as well. So we'll hear from hopefully most, if not all, of the founding partners in that video. I've seen the teaser video and I literally can't stop playing it. So I am so excited about showing everybody the launch film itself. We will have 2 sort of panel conversations, one focused on industry insight and one on lived experience. And then there's going to be lots of space for connection and for collaboration. We will also be making an announcement on that afternoon that sadly I can't say too much about, but for anybody who's going on the 10th of February, you'll be able to hear it firsthand. And of course, we'll share the details afterwards across the Global Women in EV Day LinkedIn page. So hopefully it's not just about it being another event, but it's really going to be the start of something with lots and lots of momentum behind it.
Yeah, look, it sounds to me like it's going to be an awesome event, firstly, but secondly, very special with the things that you got planned. But you know, actually, I feel actually particularly lucky because actually I was able to get a ticket to come and join you. And I got to be honest with you, I changed my diary specifically to come and join you because I think it's very special what you're doing. I think it's a right time for many reasons. I mean, here at ONEEV, we are looking at how do we empower the female user more as well, making sure their thoughts and their ideas are included in the future solutions. ONEEV are a massive supporter of what you're doing, and count us in and anything that we can do to help you. We are super excited on this topic because I really do think it's something special, and also special for a right reason, because it's not a given what you're doing. Surprisingly enough, everyone just thinks the world is equal, but it's not. And for that reason, I think the fact that when we bring it to the forefront of recognising something's not equal, we can make it equal. And I think that's the power of what you're just about to do. So look ahead now. What does success really look like for the women in EV over the next few years? Not just the numbers, but what could the impact be and the benefit to be over the next few years?
I think success looks like women being visible, trusted and influential across every single part of the EV sort of ecosystem, and that's not the exception. That must become the norm. I think it looks like leadership teams that reflect the markets that they serve, products that are actually designed with a broader range of experiences in mind, and cultures where women don't have to justify their place at the table. I know we were talking earlier, Tim, about, product design, whether that's across charging infrastructure or the vehicles themselves. If we don't have women there at the very start of that process, how can those products and services be designed to serve essentially half the market, given that women hold 49% of driving licenses, certainly in the UK, possibly that's a familiar story as well, or similar story across the globe. So I think ultimately success is when initiatives like Global Women in EV Day are no longer needed because equity is now embedded into how the sector operates. So I'll come back, if I may, in a few years' time, and hopefully our conversation might be a little bit different, Tim.
Yeah, that would be exciting. I think we should put a date in the diary for that to come back and give updates, especially because people will be watching this segment and people will be very interested. The people that I've been speaking to just in my own network just think that it's such an exciting time to bring forward something like this. I mean, I'll give you an example here at ONEEV. We think about equally the end user, which will just really fit with what you're doing. We noticed that the industry, when they're making advertisements or doing podcasts, or if they were using influencers, there was very, very, very small amount of representation by females. And we've rebalanced that, actually, even in our advertising. Our advertising is 50-50 now. It's represented by the right people who are according to our end user. So no matter who you are as an end user, you get represented. But it's the finer details, I think, that the industry will come across and they'll work with. There's only one other brand out there who I think are pretty close to what we're doing. And I spoke to their CEO the other day, and theirs is led with purpose in the same way as ours is. So look, I think the thing that you're saying, let's do some regular updates on this, because whatever we can do to support you and keep getting that message out. And the more we do things and talk like this, the bigger the message will become. We know that. Been part of things like this in the past, so I know it's about talking about it. I can only get the sense later, you Jill, that this is something you've talked about for a long time, you're going to talk about it forever, and I suspect when people are around you, they're just kind of like magnetized to have this discussion. Do you find that people are now really opening up to listening to these ideas?
Yeah, absolutely, Tim. I think just, the evidence lies in, Global Women in EV Day. It's a very new campaign. And I think just looking at the momentum of founding partners that are coming on board already, it is just remarkable, and I'm so grateful. But they are all making pledges, and I think this is one way that we can start to see real sort of action taking place, whether that's internally setting up a mentoring scheme, whether that's a founding partner who's involved in event management, for example, committing to ensuring that manels are a thing of the past. We have balanced panels, we have balanced events in terms of gender and diversity. It's so important. So that's what I'm really, really excited about.
I think it's hugely exciting. So looking at the impact for Global Women in EV Day, what message would you share directly with women who are already in the EV industry or thinking about entering it? Because actually, even entering it now could be a super exciting time. So what would your message be to them?
You belong here. The EV transition
Brilliant.
needs your insight, it needs your experience, it needs your leadership. And this industry will be better because of you. You know, Global Women in EV Day exists to make that visible, to help women build confidence and to remind women that, you know, you're not entering this space alone. It's a growing global community and there's absolutely space for you within it.
I think that's a very, very good message. And I also think the message that I'd add to that is this, which is it's no longer just an industry of tech. There is so much wide diversity now in terms of how people can contribute. Even if it's the younger generation thinking about where do they break into next, this is an exciting area. And I'd like to see like more female leaders, because the reason why I say that is because they only have a different way of thinking. It's just a natural thing. Having worked with teams of males and females across the world, notice that they think different. The emotion is different, and they all strike a good, really good balance. Thinking about the design, you know, we're doing some initiatives at the moment about, you know, people thinking about design, like, is it well lit in these areas? You know, just a simple thing where people can feel a little bit more safe. All these things, I think, play a really big part. So pretty exciting stuff ahead. I think I've read, though, you've got a waiting list going up. Maybe you don't get as much chance of people getting into your waiting list, but there is a waiting list at the moment for you, right?
There is a waiting list for the launch event on the 10th of February, but please do join it. You know, I am encouraging people who have registered to let me know if they can't make it, just to free up some space.
Yes.
So, you know, please do. And there will be other events, there will be other activities across the year. So I hope that everybody can come and join us at some point.
Yeah, brilliant. So I can't let you go without asking you a question. This really comes under this podcast, which is this. Think of yourself as an EV driver now. What would you give as an advice to a new person just about to get their new EV? What's the one bit of advice that you'd give them?
Just have an open mind, talk to other people who drive electric cars. It's very natural, I think, to be nervous about that first public charging experience. So go and find a local public charger when you don't need to charge and just give it a go. And I find that at chargers, you know, everybody, pretty much without exception, is so helpful, so willing to share their advice and experience. And also, if I may say, look at EVA England and think about joining Electric Vehicle Association England as well, because it's a drivers association for you and there to help you as well.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. And I actually can't wait now till Tuesday to get all the inside understanding of the insights. I can't wait to see the video and all those things that are top secret. So until we get those information next Tuesday, I will come back on podcasts to let you know in terms of the update. I'm going to stay very close to this for everybody who's already monitoring this podcast and wants to know more information. And with the permission of Gill, we'll get any details out through her media, my media, any way of getting this message out there and spread. So thank you so much for giving up your time to come and join us. From ONEEV to you, from me to you, if there's anything we can do to support you, we will do that.
Tim, thank you so much. I appreciate it so much.